When we look at the global economy today, one country that often surprises people with its success is Singapore. A tiny island nation with a population of just about 6 million, no natural resources, and barely any land for agriculture, yet it stands as one of the richest and most developed economies in the world. In 1965, when Singapore became independent, its per capita GDP was around $500. Today, that number has crossed over $80,000, making it one of the highest in the world. But how did this miracle happen? What worked for Singapore and what lessons can other developing nations learn from it? In this video, we are going to break down these questions, explain the strategies behind Singapore's rise, and see if other countries can replicate this model. So, let's start the video. The story of Singapore's economic rise begins in 1965, when it separated from Malaysia and was left with almost nothing. At that time, unemployment was high, the housing situation was poor, and ethnic tensions were tearing the young nation apart. But Singapore had one advantage: its location. Sitting right on the Strait of Malacca, one of the busiest trade routes in the world, Singapore could use geography as its strength. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, the country developed a vision of becoming a global hub for trade, finance, and shipping. One of the first steps taken was political stability and zero tolerance for corruption. While many post-colonial countries were suffering from corruption and weak institutions, Singapore built a strict system. The government paid competitive salaries to civil servants, created a strong anti-corruption agency, and punished wrongdoing without hesitation. This gave investors confidence that their money was safe in Singapore. The next step was foreign direct investment. Instead of relying on local industries, Singapore opened its doors to multinational companies. In the 1970s, companies like Hewlett-Packard and Shell began investing in Singapore. The government created industrial parks, ports, and infrastructure to attract these businesses. This not only created jobs but also transferred knowledge and technology to local workers. Education became another pillar. From the 1970s onwards, Singapore invested heavily in building schools, polytechnics, and universities. English was chosen as the working language, which gave Singaporeans an edge in the global market. By the 1990s, Singapore had one of the most skilled workforces in Asia, making it a hub for high-tech industries, financial services, and biotechnology. The government also focused on urban planning and housing. The Housing and Development Board, HDB, formed in 1960, provided affordable and quality housing to the majority of citizens. Today, more than 80% of Singaporeans live in HDB flats. This not only improved living standards but also created social stability, avoiding slums and inequality that plague many other developing countries. Singapore also transformed itself into a logistics and trade hub. Its port is consistently ranked as one of the busiest in the world, handling millions of containers every year. Changi Airport became a global aviation hub, connecting Asia with Europe, the Middle East, and America. Today, Singapore ranks among the top in global logistics performance, enabling seamless trade. By the 1990s and 2000s, Singapore had also become a financial powerhouse. With strong regulations, low taxes, and political stability, it attracted global banks and hedge funds. In 2022, Singapore was ranked as the third most competitive financial center in the world, behind only New York and London. What lessons can other countries take from Singapore? First, political stability and low corruption are non-negotiable. Second, investing in human capital, through education and skills, is more important than natural resources. Third, creating an investor-friendly environment with strong infrastructure, good laws, and openness to global trade can transform even the smallest country into a giant economy. However, not everything is easily replicable. Singapore is small, with a population of just a few million, which makes policies easier to implement. Larger countries with more complex societies might face bigger challenges. But the principles, good governance, education, openness to trade, and strict anti-corruption policies, can be applied anywhere. So, Singapore's rise from poverty in 1965 to one of the richest nations in the world today is not a miracle. It's the result of visionary leadership, smart policies, and disciplined execution. And it stands as proof that with the right approach, even a resource-poor country can become a global economic powerhouse.